Hello everyone and welcome back to Attract Mode. We are going to kick things off with our next run. We have ValeriaAsteria with Sonic 3 A.I.R. I forget what category it is. Okay, Sonic and Tails beat the game Glitchless. Got it. So whenever you are ready, Valeria, take it away.
Okay, I'm Valeria, and this is a slightly different version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, called Sonic 3 A.I.R. It's a fan remastered, and I'm glad to be bridging the gap between Sonic 2 and Sonic Adventure for you, narratively. With comms on me, we still have Tora, as well as Pacific.
Hello, I'm Pacific CC, and I am a total Sonic newbie, but I have seen the glitched run of this before, so I'm really excited to see the glitchless run. This would be brand new for me.
I am also excited to see this run. I love watching Sonic 3 runs, but I've yet to see a Sonic 3 A.I.R. run.
It's not too popular. I've seen a lot of 3 and Knuckles. The first thing you'll notice is what you're hearing is that this is not Sonic 3 music, this is Sonic Adventure 2 music, because we have mods available to us, and I made this pack myself. It also includes, like, extra characters you can play as. To that, I have, One thing for Tora is, would you rather Knuckles' theme be Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Adventure 1?
Knuckles theme, Sonic Adventure 1.
Alright. Let me delete that file real quick. And start off with it in 3, 2, 1. So immediately, one of the changes you'll see is that they've removed one of my favorite things in the game. Well, not removed, but given you the option to not do, is cutscenes. We're off to a great start. So usually it's fast forwarding though. That's the thing about Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic in general that I love, is there's a lot of great environmental storytelling, and this takes it to the next level with the cutscenes. You've come to this island that suddenly appeared. You know that Eggman is there because that's where the Death Egg fell after Sonic Adventure, Sonic 2. Oh, good. And you immediately get jumped by an echidna, so there's a lot of storytelling that's going on for just being 2D games. And then robots set the island on fire.
I already really like this sound pack because it's got all Sonic Adventure music. Yeah. It's great.
It's the third in a series of packs I've done. The first two were Sonic 1 for Sonic 1 Forever and Sonic 2 Absolute, which used exclusively Adventure. And this adds... Oh no! I've never done this before. Okay. This adds Adventure 2 into the mix. Also, one of the big things you'll notice is that I'm doing things that are slightly different than just the Spin Dash and the Insta Shield, which are Sonic's 2 main abilities in this. I peeled out just a bit ago from Sonic CD, and I can't show you it right now, but there is the Drop Dash as well. Those 2 abilities are actually unlockable, while other remakes will put them from the start.
Oh.
This also works slightly differently from 1 Forever and 2 Absolute, which are based on the decompilations of the mobile versions. This actually uses the Steam Genesis Classics ROM that comes with that when you buy that, and it just creates a widescreen skin over it that lets you do all of this cool stuff.
Yeah, it looks great in widescreen.
It also feels slightly different, like the general gameplay. I kinda like the original more still. Another ability, Tails can stop getting hurt, is you can actually control his flight just like in Mania.
That's really cool.
There's Eggman. We got like half of a cutscene there. Oh. I did that wrong. Okay. So
what are some of the main differences between this one and the original?
Well, I said a good handful of them. Another one's coming up is that I'm fast forwarding through that cutscene right there. We saw Knuckles for our first time because we skipped the first cutscene. A lot of cases, though, you can also just exit out and load back up, which I think you can do anyway in the original. What you can just do in the menu in this, you have a restart, you have a quit, without having to hard restart the system. And I would normally do it on there. There's not a lot of the levels that I'm good enough at menuing to make it worthwhile. And now we've been sent to an underground waterway, where naturally I had to do aquatic mine. I was gonna say, like, feel free to call out the songs that you recognize, Tora.
I mean, I'm just vibing to all the different music.
We don't get to hear a lot of it for too long. I tried to make a theme between these 3 music packs that I made, so that no songs are repeated unless they're directly referential to each other between the games, such as like invincibility themes and boss themes. Going to have our first example of being able to restart to go further ahead. We can skip the cutscene that sends us down to this part of the level.
Gotta love when they add cutscene skips.
Yeah. A lot of the same techniques do still exist from the first one, though, because it's not too different. It's nowhere near as different from the original as Origins feels, for one. It is slightly closer to Mania, though. Just probably to match up with the added abilities. This is glitchless, too. The one glitch I do know how to do would be over here, to go through these slides. Luckily, we have a way around it, because we can just use Tails to fly to the other side. That's the only glitch I'm aware of that's stuck from the original. I try to do it in Mania and realize I can't do it there. But most of the level wrapping stuff has been patched out. And instead you have weird sorcery that I do not understand, added from the new mechanics that becomes glitchy. Ah, good, Tails is here. He's behaving for this one. Did not have the best Angel Island, but Hydra City's going quite well. Also, like, the background... I'm going in and out with, like, the game itself's aesthetic here and there, but, like, the background has become a little, like, advanced futuristic, if you look, which is different from the more European style the first act had. You can gain some insight from the levels as this goes on, aside from just, like, well, they set it on fire, so of course it's different. I don't know why that just happened. This boss is really weird in this version.
Gotta love underwater mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
They are great.
Yes, good one.
Sonic just stands on the capsule while Tails is in the water.
I like his sassy finger wag that he's doing.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I love about this game just generally is you get like little transitions between each stages like that. So it's nice when I don't have to skip them. Oh, over here's where I want to be. Where's Tails? Tails? There he is.
Tails! There we go. He was a little reluctant to be your helicopter this time.
Yeah. Like, if you have to wait too long for Tails, this is the Tails route, the Tails skip. It's almost as fast as going the regular way with Sonic with how fast you can normally do it.
So it's just dependent on the whims of Tails.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess, we're not going that way. The speed shoes there. Normally, with classic Sonic games, you have, oh, well, I guess we're going this way, since I went to my default way of playing this game. Usually you have fast-forwarded tracks for the speed shoes, so that's a little case where there's a little bit of actual script editing that went into this to change it so that I get a different song entirely, which makes me have to do like half of the audio editing, so it's a little convenient. I've tested this out with a few boss tracks as well, and unfortunately I'm not doing all emeralds. I did edit the special stages so that you get a different type of Chow race for Chaos and Super Emeralds.
That's cool.
Unfortunately, we're not getting the canon ending, so no Doomsday with Live and Learn either. But with some of the added things to A.I.R, I think the way I have it set up means that there, in this pack, is a total of 10 different boss themes that you can experience in one run, if you set it up right. Alright, Tails. Your turn.
Tails! Come on, buddy.
Got some Pumpkin Hill because I didn't know where else to put it.
It seems fitting, strangely.
Yeah, like I matched it up with Skyrail in the previous one.
Yep.
Because we're in sort of a mountainous area. It's interesting.
This is Skyrail and Pumpkin Hill when it was more lush.
Yeah. Or maybe we should be in those mountains in the background. Who knows? You really get a sense of like where you're. Oh, I've never had that happen to me before either. Cool. Well, we're taking the long way. Oh no. Tails, I need you.
Tails, come back.
This is not good for our estimate with the way things are going, but, you know, I wish I could have accounted for that in the time that, my first marathon ever, I'm probably gonna get obliterated by marathon luck. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll make it through this together.
Oh yeah. So is there a lot of like adaptability you have to do for this run when things don't go quite right? A lot of like on the fly route changes?
Definitely more than like the first two Sonic games, or possibly even CD as well, depending on the category you do in that. Like I started speedrunning with Sonic 1 forever, and I'm not falling for that trick. I fell for the trick.
Oh no!
Usually I either have the lightning shield there, or I can just insta-shield my way to pass right through that enemy. The insta-shield...
What's the lightning shield do?
The lightning shield will attract rings and let you do a double jump. The fire shield will do this boost forward and protect you from fire. When there's lightning stuff, that also, the lightning shield will protect you from that. The bubble shield lets you bounce and also breathe underwater. And then the insta-shield, which is Sonic's base Sonic 3 ability in this, will give you a wider attack radius as well as a few iframes that you can prevent yourself from getting hurt during. So, like, that's sort of talking about different routing, is if I had the lightning shield, I would have jumped over that enemy. If I had nothing, I would insta-shield through it. I had the fire shield, so I kind of didn't really know what to do there. But it's good I have it for here, so I can just go through this fire right here. And get a nice 7, or I guess 6 in this case, or 5 attacks before the battle even starts. But it's okay if we manipulate Tails right. Doesn't take too much longer.
Nice.
This is the case where all of the Tails manipulation that is added to this game was based off of, because you normally control Tails the same way right here. Oh. That was some stuff that just happened. That was a fast forward, and I wasn't thinking to fast forward it.
Nice. Twinkle Park for Carnival Night Zone.
Yep. The one city on this island that we're aware of, Eggman turned it into a carnival. Because he would, wouldn't he?
He would.
He definitely would. I mean, we were just talking about his different theme parks in the last run.
Oh, that was fun right there. Don't worry, that's happened to me before. But yeah, like this really starts to show, like, he doesn't just have a thing for casinos. He likes theme parks, too. Why not do it on an ancient Echidna island?
Not.
Because, I don't know, there's this whole city here with electricity, I guess, that the Echidnas worked out on. He probably didn't make all of this. They were modern. Knuckles exists, so they had to be kind of recent, but they all disappeared. We're getting some extra lore that we don't really know too well about this game, but I think the instruction says that Knuckles is the last of his kind.
That is correct.
Like, I know we know that later on in the series. I think we learn it in this if we read far enough. And he's the only one we run into.
Although, according to Sonic Chronicles, he's not the only last Echidna.
True. Depending on if that's canon. That's
yeah.
an entire another bag of worms. I've never actually beat Sonic Chronicles, so I can't tell you there.
Yeah, I never actually got far in it, because, like, I played hours of it and then just got bored with it.
That doesn't bode well for it, because I've been thinking I need to actually play through it to, like, be sure about it.
Yeah.
I did an entire stream series about, like, the story of Sonic, so I just kind of said...
I definitely would like to replay through it, just to say that I played through it and, like, know and learn all the lore of it, but it's like, it's just a very, very slow game to get through, is the problem.
And for a Sonic game, that's you can't have a slow game.
Can't have a slow Sonic game.
You already have to go through slow segments like
Unheard
these
of.
water parts. Also,
Obligatory underwater level. Yeah.
Yeah, referring to... That was close. Referring to how there is a city, I went with Rumbling Highway? Is that just the name of it? Mission Street from Sonic Adventure 2 for this. And I drowned.
Oh,
I didn't even realize I was drowning. I was too distracted.
That's okay.
Whoops.
It does seem odd that this big part of the city is underwater. It doesn't seem very safe.
Yeah, I have a theory about that.
Oh, yeah?
Perhaps I should wait until we're at the 2 levels from here to actually say it, though, so it makes sense.
Okay.
But it's not supposed to be here. It's extra. Oh. Alright, I'll take this. Safety.
Safety bubble.
See, usually, like... I expect this to catch up to me there. So I don't need safety. But sometimes I'm really good, and I can make it before it. And usually I have a bubble shield.
Too fast!
Like, casually I would have a bubble shield. I don't want a bubble shield for this part, because after this point I need particularly the insta-shield to be able to do stuff, I think. Yeah, there's a segment right up ahead. Right here. If the bubble shield, you're just gonna bounce on there all day. And you need to make sure you don't fall off, and it's a whole thing if you do that. Oop. And the lights are back on. And we are approaching everyone's favorite part of this level. That's right. It's the Barrel of Doom. Just go up and down.
Whee!
Thanks for the assist, Tails. Oh, goodness. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen either. The game just crashed on me. Hold on a second. I can fix this.
You can fix this.
I'm going to have to do a little bit of a, what do you call it, backup idea. It's okay. Where is our... I'll check my timer real quick. Okay. If I just go to stage select, since I have already beaten the game, I can just go ahead and continue it like this. It's not exactly like a ranking valid run, but the amount of time it took me to get back up was the amount of time left in the stage. So, let's say it, right? Are we good? Hold on a second.
All right.
Now we're jamming to some snowboarding music.
Yeah.
Now this is one of the other things that this adds is you do have the option to set prototype music for Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base. And so why not I do a little bit of cool stuff with that. I've added the option that if you do prototype for this level, for the ones where you don't snowboard, for those characters, you could instead have the Limestone Cave part from Sonic Adventure. And I've done
That's
a
really cool.
little slight differences for other characters. I'll be honest, like, I'm just going with the motions now after what just happened.
That's okay. It was a good quick recovery. Yeah, it happens. You were going too fast. You crashed the game.
Sometimes you just break the speed barrier and everything just falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, I went through something that I shouldn't have gone through, so that probably didn't help.
Oopsies.
That spiral pole was supposed to be solid there. So sometimes that does happen.
How did you get started running this game in the first place?
I told Tora that this is one of my favorite games, so I could do it for this, and so I started. You're looking at maybe like 3 weeks of practice. But, that said, I've been playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles since I was 5, so a little bit of a head start. We're gonna take a different route from Optimal here, because that's just how things go sometimes.
I mean, that's pretty much how I got into speedrunning Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, as they were games I played since my childhood, so, like, I have plenty of experience with them, and I thought, oh, why don't I just, you know, try, like, actually going through them fast, and there you go.
Yeah, that's the exact reason that I actually recently timed myself through Sonic Adventure, like, without even practicing. I just wanted to see how fast I can do it.
That's all you need to be a speedrunner.
Yep.
Just try to do it fast.
Exactly. On that spring there, Tails was literally landing on it the exact way to prevent me from being able to go high enough. And that's the kind of reason why people started calling him the Orange Menace. Alright, that was...
The Orange Menace.
Or,
Oh, no.
or as Argig calls him, the Orange Ball of Chaos.
that too.
Oh no. The secret actual major boss of this game, huh? The Orange Menace.
I can only do that smoothly if I have the lightning shield. But he's so helpful, and honestly, I'm realizing, even though I keep running Sonic in games, that I have a good... Why did that hurt me? I have a good instinct for Tails, so I really should probably be playing as him more. Perhaps eventually. There's so many games to run. And the stage ending that we missed was actually one of them that I usually do menu out to the menu for. Alright, so we've made it to the launch base, which is on Dragon Lake. That's where the Death Egg landed. And you can see it in the background after Sonic 2.
Oh, wow. So that's where it ended up.
Yeah. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of water that Eggman had to get out of this thing. So I think that he just redirected it over to Carnival Night.
Oh, no.
Oh.
It's on the other side of a mountain, but, you know, we're also talking about a giant space station, so...
Pretty huge.
He's got the utilities for it, I'm sure. Excuse me? Okay.
This looks like the Death Star back there.
That's exactly what it's based on.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, that's... The Death Egg is indeed based off the Death Star.
Except it has 2 holes that can fire something, instead of just
Very
the one.
different.
Alright, we don't have Lightning Shield, I'm not waiting for Tails, we're going this way.
Maybe that's what the Empire was missing. They needed 2. 2 guns, not 1.
The Empire was missing, like, very useful animal badniks instead of the Stormtroopers.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, that worked. I also kinda headcanon one of the stages that are, in the 2-player version of this, Azure Lake. That's the same lake here, it just doesn't have all of the machines around it. Maybe.
Maybe.
There's room for interpretation. Because it's Sonic. Through the loops. Okay, all things considered, of those past few stages where everything just went disastrous, this has been a very good Launch Base 1.
Ah, it looks like it's going really smoothly. Great job.
Right here we can go to last checkpoint and skip the tower falling and get right to the mid-boss. And if you know how to insta-shield, you can just jump at it and not worry about the spike balls. That was a weird blink.
Well, you do have a challenge from chat for a 1v1 race.
Oh
They're
boy.
they're admiring your play and saying that it's actually top tier for this category. So you're doing really great.
That's very kind of them. I don't know who they are, but maybe I'll race people. I do love the idea of racing people in speedrunning, which is, like, the reason probably at this point that I want to get good is, like, that's an opportunity to have fun with people.
Oh, it seems so fun. Yeah. This is Shmoomy where I'll say.
Yeah, I love racing random games with people. I love racing games that I'm usually not, like, speedrunning with people.
Yeah. See, I picked Metal Harbor for this specifically because the previous one was Weapons Bed. Those both take place around the same place in Sonic Adventure 2. But this one's like on a bunch of tubes over the water, so it felt appropriate in comparison. Now I can't get up here. One of the most basic things. But I have an alternate for this if you play as Knuckles. It's called Cooperation. It's Cannon's Core Part 2. Because he's just sort of doing stuff down there. Take a safety checkpoint, because who knows how Big Arms is gonna go. Spoiler. This is the part of Sonic 3 where, if we were playing Sonic 3 solo before they released the full game as 2 games, this is the final boss rush. You get 3 bosses in a row. And in the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles version, it just became 2 bosses. Just the... what is it called? The egg launcher and the beam rocket here. Which, that's a strat that doesn't always work that I did just there, so that's nice.
Nice. Very cool.
But yes, Sonic 3 Air adds back the ability to fight everyone's favorite, the big arms.
The big arms.
Which I gave its own unique music for.
Nice.
Oh, those are some big arms for sure.
See if I can... Nope, okay. If I get an extra hit in there.
He made those big arms because he just wants to give you a big hug, huh?
Oh yeah, like I say, hold me in your big arms. This is what I mean. Now, normally, you watch the Death Egg fall back to Angel Island. But I forgot that this is how we were doing this. I guess I can still menu since I'm using Stage Select now, instead of the save file. But yeah, normally, as soon as the ka-ching happens on the score screen, you've loaded the next level and you can move on. And so you can skip the big unfast-forwardable cutscenes to see if I can do this. Ah, nope. I have not been able to get that since I first mastered. So we just come back up here.
There's a backup.
Yeah, I mean, this is a stage that... I'm thinking Mushroom Hill Act 2. Really, like, as long as you do any of the paths very well, you don't lose too much time. So, like, don't do what I just did there. Let's scooch around this big ring, and we're back on path. This might be a strange choice for the song. I just thought it rhythmically fit. And also, Knuckles is back. Oh boy. Thought I heard.
Oh no, there's an axe involved now.
Yep. We got lumberjacks trying to deforest this place. This is like actually when I really start to point out how different the biomes across this island are. It really emphasizes just how big Angel Island is. How big all of the islands in this series actually are. It's a little understated. So you start out in a jungle, you go to a secret underground ruins. You go to whatever mountainous region Marble is, then a city, then an ice cap. It's all kinds of things, and it keeps going.
Yeah, it really helps each level have kind of their own unique flavor to them.
Get that jump? I got that jump. Nice.
Nice! Very good.
Very nice.
Tearing through this level.
Yeah, this one's going very well. We're shaping up from before. Actually, like, the end of launch base went pretty well, too. So if we can just keep going like this... Hello. What?
Hello.
Just happened?
Oh no.
I've never seen that before. That was
She said it again.
It unloaded the level? What? I definitely jinxed myself, so there's that.
No. That's okay.
That's not gonna work. There we go. I think I finally figured out how to get up here consistently. I never knew. I thought it was random, but I think you have to go on that far part of that crank that you go up. Just to get those, shields.
Nice.
This is another scenario going on the flying battery. It's probably faster to menu out of, but I only do one more stage. With the menuing out of the level. Now this is a stage that is like pure skill, and it could just go horribly wrong for no reason, but it could also go really well.
I just want to point out that this is very fitting music for this stage.
Yes. For Wing Fortress and Sonic 2, I made it the other Skydeck theme. So it's not both of them in this. It's more I first referenced it, and you'll see what I do next. I think it fits. Okay. Well, I shouldn't have attempted that, but it was going slowly, so I got impatient.
It happens. That's okay. At least you didn't lose. Go too far back.
It's fine. We have the better cycle there.
There's an interesting little platforming section too.
Well, that's okay. We don't need that shield.
Don't need it.
Tails, if you would. This is usually a Tails or Knuckles only route. Interesting to note, this is like the only stage for Knuckles in the entire game that is exactly the same as Sonic's. Everything else, Knuckles has a different route.
Oh. So the speedruns are pretty different then between the two.
Each character has its own unique abilities and places it can go. So that's one of the beauties of being able to manipulate Tails like this in this version, is you now have an entire new set of areas you can attempt with Sonic. They also may or may not be faster in the first place. This is stop hitting yourself, the boss.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Nice.
Tails, don't do that. You have to sign so it bounced up.
Yo, Radical Highway.
Yeah. I really did not have anywhere else to put this one as well, but it definitely worked. Similar situation to the Pumpkin Hill. The fun part is I've actually also planned out an entire music mod for Sonic CD that continues with this and adds Sonic Heroes. So I do have like Speed Highway and stuff in there, like it cleans up the rest of the adventure music that I didn't use. Oop. And then after that's gonna be Mania. I can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped. So have you tried doing a Knuckles run of this yet?
I feel like I saw someone do a Knuckles run, like, somewhat recently, and was just like, I could do better than that. So I did, like a more casual one, but it was about the same as what they did. So I guess, yeah. But not like a pro glitched version.
Right.
Knuckles' setup is more of a matter of, like, you have the fast stuff given to you by necessity. With, like, this game does add some extra points to that, too, because it adds the mode of having Knuckles with Tails. So, that will also add a little bit more that Knuckles can do. Particularly, he can take the top route in Ice Cap instead of having to go the bottom route, which only he can access. There's an achievement for that. I don't think I mentioned that. There are achievements in this, and that's actually how you unlock Sonic's Peel Out and Drop Dash in the first place, and some other modes.
We have a question from chat from Indy saying, do you prefer the fan remaster to the original?
I briefly started to say this, but for as much as the cool stuff that this does add, I like the way the original feels better. So if I'm gonna, particularly with Sonic, speedrun this more, I'm probably going to switch back to that. Tails, on the other hand, has this fantastic ability called Flight Cancel that I don't think is in any official games. I think Cream has it in Sonic Advance 2, and that's all. So you can drop out of flight anytime you want. It is marvelous. So any classic game with Tails having that, I would go for it instead. Which he does have it in 1 Forever and 2 Absolute. So maybe some official the mobile versions, maybe in Origins, he does have those. I'm not familiar enough.
I do know that Sonic has the drop dash in Origins.
Yeah, they added that to all of the different stages, or different games in that. Tails. Good job, Tails. Thanks for making up for me. Got that last hit. That noted, 1 Forever and 2 Absolute has the drop dash, and also has the peel out and the insta shield added to it, so you have all three like you do in this for that. Those are fun. I'd recommend them. It definitely... I don't remember if I finished saying this, but I started out with Sonic 1 Forever in speedrunning at all, and it really makes the game a different experience that I prefer, having all of those abilities. But also, like, Sonic 1 didn't have Spin Dash in the first place, which I think it also needs to be a good game. And they've added that since Sonic Jam.
Shoutouts to Sonic Jam, which lets you play all the games in easy mode, which basically just takes out a bunch of acts.
Oh, is that what that does? I've never tried that.
Yep. Yeah, it literally just takes out a bunch of acts, so, like, the games are shorter.
I figured it would, like, alter the stages slightly, like, get rid of some excess spiking.
Nah, it's not that fancy, but it's kind of fun to play through anyways if you're someone like me who is terrible at the 2D Sonics.
That's interesting. To be honest, with Sonic Jam, what I mostly did was play around in Sonic World.
Yeah, Sonic World is probably the best part of Sonic Jam. It gives you an idea of what Sonic Adventure would have been like if it had been made for the Saturn instead of the Dreamcast.
Yeah, like, it's different from what they were doing with Sonic Extreme even, like, so it's a little more 3D than that.
Valeria, we have a question as well, asking where you learned your strats from.
What's their username?
This is Shroomy Rouse.
Shroomy Rouse. Yeah, I watched your video, person point.
Oh, okay.
But also I watch HUD601 a lot. He loves to play this version of the game, usually glitchless, I think. So, oh, cool, they did that.
Nice.
Wow, that was fast.
I think Argic sometimes plays this version too, but it's more versatile.
Yep, he uses this version mainly to do the Sando 8s.
Which he got from HUDs, so...
Yep.
Oh boy, that thing didn't go down like I thought it was going to. Of course I have to have Pyramid Ruins.
Also, shoutouts to, I was gonna say Pyramid Cave.
Either Ruins, Pyramid Cave, that's what it is. I mix up the actual song titles with the stage names sometimes.
Yeah.
I did, honestly, first test this out using Deeper for Death Chamber. Turns out, and I had this for Lava Reef, turns out switching them worked way better, so it's also more thematically appropriate. Whoa, why did you turn around? Okay. That was weird.
Just Sonic things.
Just Sonic things, indeed.
Hashtag just Sonic things.
I have to wonder if that is just like the game doing that, because I ran into that issue in Sonic 1 Forever a lot, and I was blaming it on my DS4, which is all I could use at that time. I am actually, for this, using a Retrobit Genesis controller that I've recently started using. This is also the one classic remaster that I could use my GameCube controller on, which is what I like to mainly use. But this has been an improvement, and I can also use that for 1 Forever and 2 Absolute. It's more of a genuine experience, I think. On Tails. Of course I'm going to use the GameCube controller for Adventure and Adventure 2, though. Help. This part is perhaps one of the trickier ones to go fast in and not use the sand because it is mostly Tails manipulation, and I really had to learn to make sure Tails doesn't disappear when I need him to not and reappears when I need him to.
It looks like there's a lot going on in this stage.
Yeah, this is not an easy stage. Down? Okay. Kinda in that note, you'll see that I don't use Tails a lot in Lava Reef 2 because he does the exact opposite of that. Like, he's never around when I need him. So he just falls down in places when I would use him, so I don't. Nice. Oh. Oop. Okay. This is another boss that has been extremely weird to me recently, so I definitely want to get that checkpoint. Alright. That wasn't bad at all. I didn't point out, but
wow.
when the egg golem showed up, I changed the music specifically to that to be Masters of the Desert from Sonic Adventure 2. I might have been talking over that.
Okay, yeah, this music is actually fitting for Lava Reef.
Yeah. It's definitely a matter of, Sandopolis 2, even though it's in like a spooky pyramid, is not this low-key of a theme, but Lava Reef, even though it's pretty melodic, is this kind of melody style, I would say. And that's the fun thing about these music mods, I find, because I always try to make them thematic and like match them up to the original the best they can. The first one I actually explored with it because it was like one of the rare cases I'm like, I would actually want to change the music of this game. Because I made a Sonic and the Fallen Star fan game music mod. And that was tricky because there aren't that many acts of stages as there are in this. So I had to use some like unused stuff. And it's also just not one-to-one, zone to zone. I mixed up the zones a little. Oop, that was close. This does make this level just a vibe, though, having this song.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was a very clunky stairs. Okay.
I like the little rock critters that are peeking out.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Actually, losing the fire shield there isn't a bad idea, because I can do the immediate next part a little smoother, and I don't want it for the boss. I mean, it wouldn't hurt for the boss, it's just easier to hit these things with the insta-shield rather than relying on Tails. Those are very good jump, Tails. I don't know how he made that jump. Sometimes it just does jumps.
Yeah, Tails seems like he's cooperating pretty well.
Yeah. I think it's just like the general geometry of this level, the way that the game interprets it. Just sometimes you can hit the right angle and it'll just send you flying. It's very bumpy ground. This is another checkpoint start. You can just skip a segment to this part where it starts you if you die later.
Ooh, pretty.
Get over here, Tails. Make this slightly easier for me.
Yeah, this theming is nice. The cool blue colors and also Lost Colony playing in the background.
Yeah, it's weird because you don't like think of this as a cave level theme because you're in space during it, but what inspired me was that it's called Trespasser, and it's the same theme that will be for Hidden Palace Zone. I have to be careful here because I don't have rings. What did I just say? Fail.
No.
Back from the start. I actually, like, made some time save after a while. I realized I'm not really looking at my splits. I had a super good Sando Act 1.
Yeah, that was a really smooth act. So you got time.
Perhaps.
I think all things considered are doing pretty well so far.
Thanks. Now I have invincibility, so I don't have to try to be fancy with that insta-shield there and get hurt. Wrong series!
Wait, oh no.
I know it just got a movie recently, but this is a Sonic event, not a Mario event.
Oh no.
It could have been a
Blasphemy.
Mario event, but no one wanted to do Mario games.
Let's be honest, whoever wants to do a Mario game for...
Thanks, Tails. That was so good of you. Sometimes Tails, like, really pulls it out for you.
Yeah, exactly. Crime gets it.
And then sometimes he just wanders off, like there.
Metroid Crime said it's because Sonic games are better, to be honest. Wow, those are some fighting words in the chat there.
That is some fighting
Do we have
words.
any Mario fans? Come on, stick up for Mario.
Let's be honest. I'm sure a great majority of people would rather play Sonic games than Mario.
I definitely have more of the appeal to Sonic, that's for sure. Might be the character design.
I think they're both great.
Also, the fact that Sonic games go fast, while Mario games are a bit of a slower pace.
Well, they're different types
gotta
of
go fast with
platformers.
Sonic.
Mario's like your quintessential platformer that everything's based off of, and Sonic's steeped in acceleration, which I really think we should be calling them acceleration platformers and not momentum-based platformers, because Mario also has momentum.
That's true.
So does, like, Metroid and Mega Man. Metroid's not even a platformer. I was joking while playing Sonic 2, I think, or Sonic Chaos recently, how one of the areas in it was big and wide, and I was just like, and this is inspired by Metroidvania elements here, even though the game predates the term. But actually, though.
I like how this boss is just literally let the platforms hit him, or let the spike balls hit him.
Fun part about this version of the boss, he's done. In the original, 14 hits. That was only 8. They made it much more reasonable.
Nice.
However, I now that I know how to manipulate the music the way I do, I have a very ambitious Sonic Frontiers music mod in mind. You might want the 14 hits for that song I'll put for that boss. I'm gonna need to, like, upload all of my music mods somewhere to share with people.
So we're out of the volcano now, and where are we now?
We're in the Hidden Palace, which has a very distinct, futuristic style, ancient architecture to it. And this is where Knuckles is guarding the Master Emerald from us, because if you see the mural there, more environmental storytelling, Eggman has convinced him that he's the one that's holding it, trying to protect it from the thing coming towards us, which will be Sonic. That couldn't possibly go badly for Knuckles. Oh wait, what's happening? Ah, nuts. He's been bamboozled.
Oh no!
Who would have thunk?
But with Knuckles' help, we can now chase after Eggman.
And poor Knuckles is all tuckered out because he just got electrocuted.
Yeah, I mean, impressive, honestly, that he's still kicking after that. And now that Death Egg has risen again, nice and fast. But Knuckles trusts us now, and we're gonna finish the job for him. And unfortunately, we're gonna, like, skip the 2 bosses that lead up to the Mecha Sonic fight in this, because this is where the rest of the boss music that makes it a total of 10 comes in. This version adds the option to make it the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 boss themes to their respective bosses, and I did the same themes that I did for 1 Forever and 2 Absolute there. Tails, you never jump there.
Get it together, Tails.
He's so weird in this, because if you're not on the same level, he won't do the flight assist when you want him to. So you need to, like, force him. I hit this checkpoint just in case. While I'm waiting for Tails. Yeah, you mostly just skip Sky Sanctuary. Sky Sanctuary being a place that we now know is full of... I missed it. It's another retro futuristic place, much like Hidden Palace, because we know this is where the ancients are now. I'm gonna spoil Sonic Frontiers for you. It's where they relocated
second try. Nice.
So we can assume that there are Chow around here, like there are in the Sonic Frontiers Divergence. They're just probably hiding from all the egg robots. Here we go. The second edition of Mecha Sonic, which was fought in the Death Egg. Pizza. Pizza cake.
Nice.
Pizza cake.
Very good.
Okay. I don't actually feel like menuing out of this, so I'm just gonna let it run. It's cinematic. We can fast forward. This area of Sky Sanctuary has crumbled, but we've made it to the Death Egg. We gotta scramble to the core now.
Yo, cannon score, let's go.
Those took my ride. Okay. Okay. I knew this was gonna... Okay. Get back on track here. Another cool thing they've added to this version is this area entirely, sort of. It used to only be accessible by Tails, but now, particularly with the electric shield, you can go here as Sonic in this version. They made like an entire additional platforming area for him. Nice timing there. Not nice timing there.
Okay.
Oh boy.
You got this.
Not nice timing there again. I don't like this route, but it is like a minute faster.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So-
that's pretty significant, I'd say.
Yeah. Tails get that one? He did. Nice. Tails is helping.
Tails
Hope
assist.
I don't die here? We didn't. One of the glitches from the original that maintained there is that door that closes behind you as you plummet through that area can just kill you willy-nilly.
Oh.
So it's very interesting when you consider a handful of glitches or bugs have remained. Oh wait. No, don't do that. Okay. I'm getting this
Work with
checkpoint
this here,
for
Sonic.
this checkpoint for safety up here because Red Eye is the worst boss in like all of classic Sonic.
Oh, this guy.
Alright. I like that. Okay.
Ooh,
That was pretty good.
very nice.
Oh,
Wow.
give me a ring. And now, this is also like the boss that takes the most hits. I have to do a second phase, and I did not get it. Thank you for that, Tails. You got the ring. This is just survival at this point. Try to get a good amount of bounces here. Okay. Whew.
Nice.
I did-
Wow.
Didn't die, and that's all I can ask for there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Tails for the win too, huh?
I don't
And
remember if
Tails
this...
saved the day there.
Yeah. I don't remember if there's another part where you can reset to get right here. It probably is. I'm not going to chance it. We're on the last stage. Yeah, okay. That happens.
All right. No big deal.
And we missed that lightning shield. It's fine. There's one there. There's a strat to, like, go underneath these steps by going into a secret room with ring boxes over there. I don't know how to make it work all the time, so I don't do it. It's actually faster to do it regularly if you don't if you don't do it optimally. So right now what we are hoping, because this is going to be like, this is a mess of a stage any way you play it, I just have to hope I can get through the final boss in one life. Fine. We're good.
Fine. Totally good.
Also to note, like, I used what is, like, technically the super final level from Sonic Adventure 2 for the first act, and then I went back and used Crazy Gadget for this act. I just thought it made more sense because of the gravity shenanigans.
You're just missing the foom sound effect.
Yeah. I knew Tails was gonna get hit there, so I waited. Tails does a very strange thing when you're not, on him in this, is he just kind of hovers around you. You can't actually control him once you've set him into the sky. It gets in the way sometimes. The loops. No, we don't want that one. Luckily in this, you can just jump out of those. I don't think you can in the original, but that would have taken me through another long and windy loop where I could just run past it. Same here. Why have you not gone up? There we go. Okay. We're at the end. I feel like I missed a spot, but I don't know how I'm past it, so I'm not gonna question it.
Nope.
It's a part I usually get hurt at, and I don't remember it happening. This is the Uwu Bowl. Listen to it.
Uwu.
And the strat for it is to just stay up here. Oh, well. I jinxed the strat. It's fine. We recovered very well. It's just stay up here so that its little drones fall upside down and just hit them right back up.
Nice.
Alright.
Get him!
Lightning Shield, 114 rings, final boss. Let's see how this goes. You thought Big Arms had big hands. This is the Kyodai Eggman robot. But it's bigger arms if you ask me.
All the better to hug you with.
It's more like bigger fingers.
Big fingers.
Big fingers.
Yes. And you can see, actually, there's an even smaller Eggman robot inside the eye. That's a secret tool to help out Eggman later. Tails.
Tails!
Tails.
I could have saved myself from there. I just didn't realize I was falling through it. I thought I got the hit and Tails didn't. That's the most difficult part about this, and it actually works differently than the original, I'm pretty sure, is how Tails interacts to hit this thing when it follows you around. So I could do it much smoother in the original. Tails is way more unpredictable here, I find. That's strange. I don't usually not hit that finger that much. Oh, alright. That's fine. That's not
You got
fun.
this. Oh no!
I don't apparently, because Tails is like on top of things, and I'm not ready for it.
Tails, get yourself together.
I can do this. I'm almost done. I know I'm over time at this point.
I think you're still underestimate, so don't even worry about that.
I don't think that's possible. My Hidden Palace time is 55. I can't see my timer, but I know it takes more than 5 minutes to get here from there.
Well, the past two runs were underestimate. One was well underestimate, actually, so...
Yeah. Ow, jeez. I was so focused on Tails that time, I didn't focus on the laser. It's fine. This is how it always goes. It's not how it always goes.
Fine, everything is fine.
We just get to hear more supporting me. It's fine.
We do. I felt this worked extra good for this for some reason. maybe I have an idea. I'm gonna try something new. Okay, maybe I shouldn't try something new. Okay. You can basically cut me off at any point here, but if I game over, I'm gonna call it there. Okay. Spin dash didn't happen.
Let's give Valeria your energy, chat. You got this.
Okay. I know what I'm doing wrong, I'm just not acting on it. You know how that is?
Oh, it happened. Yeah, definitely it happens.
Down here, Tails.
With the fingers like that, kind of looks like he's playing the piano or something.
Yeah.
The egg musician.
Also, he has 6 fingers.
Which is interesting.
Six-fingered man.
Oh gosh.
If anybody's seen the Princess Bride, Six-fingered man.
Oh, I was thinking Gravity Falls.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Me and my cartoons.
Oh, heck yeah. I've heard it's great.
I don't remember if you get a 0th life in this. That was a fantastic spin dash, Sonic. If not, this is... we'll see. Either it's time for Sonic or it's time for Eggman.
You do this, Sonic.
I just have to play it safe. That's what I haven't been doing. There we go.
There we go.
That's not all.
Yeah, you
the
still
first
got
part.
this. You still got this chase
Got it.
sequence.
Gotta get that gem.
Bring me back that Master Emerald. I hope I have the right ending music set. You have an option of what your outro before the credits does. That's time. I don't have the right one set. So it's doing...
Gee.
Thank you. It's doing the Sky Sanctuary music, which is the default. That's how it does in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This adds the option to change it to prototype music that they didn't use, and the Sonic 3 credits music, which I have set as It Doesn't Matter and Believe in Myself respectively, so they would have been better. But there we go. That's Sonic 3 Air. Angel Island doesn't go back into the sky because we did not get all the emeralds. And I guess that's all for me.
Well, that was a great run. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
showing
that was
us
a
that.
fantastic
It
run.
was super fun.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us where we can find you?
You can find me at ValeriaAsteria in the same way that it's formatted on screen on Twitch, and that's my name most places, but I think I have everything linked there. I don't usually stream my speedruns, though I do still play a lot of Sonic. I'm playing a lot of RPGs to, like, get out of the Sonic a little. But that's mostly where I am.
Cool.
And yeah, and I'm Pacific, but I don't really stream. So if you want to catch me, come over to Lady Arcaders and hang out here.
Yeah, shout out to Lady Arcaders, which is a very
Shout
cool,
out to Lady Arcaders.
very cool women's community, and shout out to Tora for running this. It's very cool.
No problem. And with that, we're actually going to take a small break, and we'll be switching over to a different restream. So if the stream goes down, do not panic. It's just switching over. And I will also be signing off soon as host as I get ready for my run. So thank you so much once again, Valeria, for this run, and we will see you all soon.